What's going on, everyone? It's Abdallah here from the YouTube channel Abdallah Smash 026, along with a very special guest of Elo. You guys know him from the YouTube channel QuandaleRen66. How you doing today?
I'm doing all right. Just trying to get back into the scene right now, and I figured, hey, you know what? We've got a lot of new Pokemon information that just got uncovered over the past few days. So, what better time than to just hop on here and get going with these guys? We got some big things to talk about this morning.
Absolutely, absolutely. So on this video, we're going to talk about all of the Mega Evolutions that have been announced recently to date. We'll be showing you video footage, we'll be showing you base stats, and some definite viable moves that you guys can put together in order to be competitive in the Pokemon scene when the new games come out. So without further ado, let's jump into all of the Generation 1 megas that have been announced. Elo, what's our first one that we're going to be talking about here?
So the first one we got on the roster is one that was actually most recently released / revealed, which is Mega Beedrill. Now, Mega Beedrill, you can see the base stats on your screen right now are looking pretty, I don't know, kind of eh. I mean, it's not anything to write home about in terms of maybe a moderately notable in the NU tier 90 attack stat, but when this thing goes Mega, this thing has 150 base attack stat and 145 speed. If you're looking at its defenses, they're not great. This thing, if you looked up the definition of a glass cannon in a dictionary, you would find this thing under the first definition right there.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, 15 base defense, that's terrible. That, like, if you look at it, it'll die. That's crazy.
You're looking at special attack.
Oh, wait, oh yeah, okay, special attack. But no, 40 is still pretty bad.
40's not great. No, neither of those stats are fantastic. But in return, you get the ridiculous compensation in that you get adaptability, which means you get a ×2 bonus instead of a ×1.5 bonus on all bug and poison moves in Beedrill's case. And this is going to include X-Scissor, Poison Jab, U-Turn are all notable ones. One that I like to consider on this list somewhere is Spell Stinger, which is a 30 base power bug move. When you knock out your opponent with it, you have to get the knockout with the damage. You can't get it with after turn effects or anything, but you get a free Swords Dance as a side effect from it. And with adaptability, it goes up from 30 to 60. So if you could pick off something weaker, it wouldn't be a necessarily bad idea. It's a good adaptability boost.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, with a 60 base power move, that's pretty decent. Knock something out, and then out of nowhere, you get, you know, the free Swords Dance, and you're boosting that 145 base speed. That's huge. You just gotta not get hit by anything.
Yeah, that's a big... if you don't kill, you are essentially killed yourself. So, quick way to use Beedrill, make sure it's dead.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh man, just fake out that thing and knock it out with priority, right?
Yeah, I don't think Beedrill actually gets any priority, so that's probably going to be the one thing that picks it off for sure. It does ×4 resist Mach Punch, but outside of that, anything that it doesn't resist could be trouble. So, moving right along to the next one we have on the list. We only got 3 from Gen 1, so the second one we're looking at is going to be Mega Pidgeot.
Yeah, Pidgeot is pretty cool. That was one of my favorite Gen 1 Bird-type Pokemon. I would say, you know, the boost in speed is pretty good. I mean, special attack, but I mean, the best part about him is now that he's got a usable ability, No Guard, which all moves have the set accuracy of pretty much 100% if you think about it. Mm-hmm. Notable moves would be Hurricane. I usually like using that in the rain, but now you can just use it freelance wherever you want. And Heat Wave too. That's amazing on the moveset.
So yeah, Heat Wave didn't really need it as bad because it had the 90 accuracy, but I can't tell you how many times I've been, you know, on the wrong end of the 90% accurate moves, missing when I need them to hit in crucial moments. And now you don't have to worry about that with either or. So with Hurricane, you get reliable, really powerful stab with a chance to confuse on the side. Heat Wave is not stab, but provides great coverage with a chance to burn. I mean, that's definitely something notable right there. If you're looking at Pidgeot's biggest buff right here, it is a whopping 65 added, 65 added base stat to its special attack. So it turns from being a very mediocre special attacker to one that is actually a really powerful threat.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I don't know too many pokes that can take a stab Hurricane 100% accuracy from that thing. That's going to be crazy. What do you think? Like full investment on special attack then with EVs?
Yeah, special attack and speed. Same thing going back to Beedrill would probably just be straight up attack and speed. A lot of these are very straightforward offensive investments.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, moving on. Our third first generation Pokemon is Slowbro. Mega Slowbro. Look at this thing. It's this shell has finally climbed off of its tail and is starting to eat this Slowpoke here. That's crazy.
So looking at the base stat changes here, it gets a whopping 70 added to its defense, and thanks to its ability, you can no longer crit it with anything you want to toss at it. It can just set up on your face, and it doesn't care. So it got an added 70 to the defense and an extra, I believe, 30 to the special attack. Which, with that in mind, it doesn't need to compensate heavily on the defensive side. So a Calm Mindset would probably be the one we'd be looking at here. You could very easily run some kind of Crow-Coon variant on this thing, but you could call it the Crowbro. You know, give it Calm Mind, Rest Talk, and Scald. Just make sure all the water absorbers are gone.
Crowbro, I can't believe you said that. You guys hear it first. Crowbro. That's an official set right now. Done.
Yeah, so you would just max HP. You could even max defense this thing if you wanted to. If you wanted to be really cheeky, I would think max special defense would be great because a 180 compensates fine. On top of that, if you're running Scald and you get burns, that's going to work out great for you. And when you have Rest and Sleep Talk and you don't have to worry about crits, it fills a very unique role in the meta for being, once you get the train going, you're going to have a hard time shutting it down.
Yeah, no doubt, especially if you're doing that Rest Sleep Talk combo. Yeah, I can't wait for that Pokemon. That's going to be amazing, dude. All right, moving on. All right, so we're going into Gen 2 over here with Steelix. Mega Steelix. Look at this guy. He boasts a whopping 230 defense. That is crazy. And then he's got the ability Sand Force, which definitely buffs 33% attacks of ground attacks, rock attacks, and steel attacks. So pretty good on a sand team, I would say.
Yeah, it's a shame that Steel type doesn't get the special defense boost. It did get buffed up to 95 for its base special defense. That's always been one of Steelix's dry points, and that it can take Flare Blitz is great. But if you look at it the wrong way with the Flamethrower, it just drops. So yeah, it didn't compensate great for it. But the moves that you can run with Sand Force to benefit with it are pretty much, just regular physical attacking moves. This thing was never a great special attacker in the first place, but it did get a 40 added base stat to the attacking stat. So your Earthquakes, your Stun Edges, and your Gyro Balls in the sand are all going to hit a lot harder. And off of 125 with the boost, not terrible. Looking pretty good.
All right, who are we going to next?
We have... Actually, going back on that previous note, all of those really benefit. I forgot it got Curse. So
yeah, dude, Curse would be crazy on that thing.
Yeah, Curse would drop your speed and make Gyro Ball even more efficient. So if you wanted to be offensive with this thing, you could. If you wanted to be just dedicated, straight defensive with this thing, you definitely could. It has the potential now to be offensive, and I think that's really cool for it. That was the only Gen 2 pick. From what we gathered from the data scraping that happened the other day. That's where a lot of this information came from. The demos were released almost pretty much worldwide, if I'm not mistaken. And a lot of this was just hiding in there in like a 1,000 block file. So thank you, Caphotix, for doing that for us. So let me see, where are we at? We are at Gen 3 now, which is the one that definitely got the most love. So we're going to jump right into starters here. The other two that we did not know about, we don't really need to talk about Blaziken. I don't think we do.
Yeah, Blaziken's there. I mean, we've had him for a long time, so we can skip.
Yeah. Mega Swampert is the big boy on stage right now, boasting, the previous base stats from before. Nearly everything on this thing got pushed to above 100. Everything got a notable boost across the board. Attack getting 40, defenses both getting an added 20. Special attack and speed getting an extra 10, which, 70 in the rain being doubled and having that bulky of a defense and having that great of an offense. This thing is going to be pretty interesting.
I would say so. And then his ability with Swift Swim, doubling speed in the rain, that is awesome. I mean, Space 70 speed is pretty decent, but, put him in the rain on a rain team, that's going to be, you know, a threat. That's
a huge threat. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Ludicolo is somewhere in the same ballpark, and people use that. If anything, it's the exact same base speed as Ludicolo. So if you think about how fast a Ludicolo is in the rain, and you had trouble taking that thing out, and you don't have a grass-type attack for Swampert, now picture how bulky this thing is going to be with 100 HP and 110 in both defenses.
Yeah.
You're not just going to be able to pick it off with any priority-type attack. You're going to need something that can live a hit from this thing. It fills a completely different role with just the Mega alone. So you need to worry about whether or not you're going to be able to just take out a defensive one, or you need to worry about the locomotive once it gets going in the rain.
Awesome. Very cool design, too. I like how he's all super buff.
Yeah, he skipped legs day, though.
All right, moving on to the other starter, we got Sceptile here. Now, what's unique about him is that he actually gains the Dragon typing, Grass Dragon, which is pretty awesome. And he also gains Lightning Rod. So, Elo and I were talking earlier, and this is a total counter to Rotom Wash.
It shuts it down 100%. The only response it has to it is maybe a Hidden Power Ice coming off of a Choice Scarf one. But that's
it.
That might be something that we see. Just in response, I would find that very hilarious because it is still ×4 weak to Ice. Yeah. I've been wanting to see Grass Dragon for many generations, by the way, at this point, and actually seeing one, because there's a lot of other ×4 Ice weaknesses. It's like, let's bring some variety on the board. And the fact that they brought it with one of my actual favorite grass starters, and they actually gave him a lot of love. I was like, there's no way this thing needs to be any faster. 120 is plenty. How about 145? And we'll give you the same special attack to match.
That's too good, man. It's very good. Oh, man. But Grass Dragon, definitely still 4 times weak against Ice, but who cares? You got Lightning Rod, +1 special attack when hit with an electric move. Why not switch it into it if you see it coming?
Yeah, I mean, you would resist it as a Sceptile in the first place, so it's not a terrible idea there. One of the more interesting Lightning Rod users for sure. It also got a buff in its regular attacking stat, which is something to note because it does get access to Swords Dance, it gets Rock Slide, Leaf Blade, Earthquake. But the way that it's been catered to its Mega, you're probably going to give the special attacking side a little bit more love because the buffs they gave it, man, the buffs, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, 145, that's really, really good. Okay, moving on, we've got Sableye, Mega Sableye. You see him hiding behind that gigantic gem. Looks pretty cool. The only difference is, I'd say, is a boost in stats like usual, and then the Magic Bounce ability. So that's kind of a catch-22. I really love Prankster with regular Sableye, so then switching that over to Magic Bounce, pretty decent.
I think this is more of a loss for the poke overall than it is a gain, because it moves into a role where it's outclassed by a lot of other defensive things in general. That's not to say that its defensive stats are bad. 125 and 115 are great, but the thing you have to consider is, do you want this to be your Mega for your slot? You only get one of these, and out of all the new ones they've introduced, having one that was definitely, in my opinion, better in its base form than it is in its Mega form, because Prankster is just way too good.
Yeah.
It also gets slower, so all of these stat moves that you're going to want to use, like if you want to use Will-O-Wisp or Taunt or anything like that, or Recover, you're going to have to do it with the base 20 speed now, instead of base 50 speed.
Which is pretty dirt slow.
And it only has a base 50 HP, which does not bode well, just in general. It doesn't go great with the defensive stats.
I mean, what are you going to do with this poke now that it has Magic Bounce? I mean,
the only thing off the top of my head I could maybe consider is a Calm Mindset, because it does get access to Shadow Ball and Dark Pulse, and with Magic Bounce you can't get taunted, you can't get status, which, again, interesting, but when you're only working things off of a base 85 special attack, I can definitely see the Mega Stone for this thing sitting way low in the tierings. And Sableye is already, I believe, still UU, or are you, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah.
I've been out of the scene a little while. Forgive me if I don't know that info off the top of my head. I just know it's not NU or OU at this point. Yeah, more of a drawback for Sableye, unfortunately. It is worth mentioning that I do love its design. I saw it, and I thought it was fantastic.
I love the gold one, too, man. Gold Sableye is just too cool. All right, moving on, we have Altaria. a Dragon Fairy classification. That is pretty cool. I think that type combo is excellent. I mean, you send that in against any other dragons, and they can't touch you with any dragon moves. And you can bust out a pixelated Hyper Voice or a pixelated Double Edge or Return. And that's awesome. And why don't you tell everyone what Pixelate's all about, that ability?
So Pixelate, if you have a normal type move on your roster and you use it, it gets a 30% boost in its base power before you get the stab bonus on it. So for Pixelate, Hyper Voice, you would be getting added 30% of it, which is 24. So you would go to 114 before you get the stab bonus on it, which pushes you an extra 57 ultimately, which is very powerful on Hyper Voice in general. In doubles, it would hit both opponents. I can see this thing being, fairly prevalent, seeing as how it's immune to Draco Meteors, Dragon Claws. Dragon always had a pretty big presence in VGC. So the fact that it now is an anti-dragon that can hit the other side, dragon types, fighting types, dark types in general. This thing also gets access to Dragon Dance from previous generations. So, Dragon Dance hitting with a fairy double edge or a fairy return. It's a lot of damage, and it's something that only it can really do moderately well. If you're looking at its attacking stat, Altaria was never really a fantastic dedicated attacker. But now that it got even buffs to attack, defense, and special attack, they're all 110, and its defense is special defense is 105. So anything that isn't HP or speed is now over 100. I think its typing and its ability compensate great for its stats, and it is a poke that I think got a very well-rounded across the board amount of love.
Yeah, I agree. I can't wait to use that Pokemon. That's going to be really cool. All right, moving on. We're going to Sharpedo now. Now, Sharpedo was an awesome Pokemon with speed boost ability. So once you Mega Evolve this thing, it's going to get the ability Strong Jaw, which is a 50% boost to any biting moves such as Crunch or Ice Fang. So I can only imagine that you kind of stall out a little bit, maybe pick off a Pokemon, get those speed boosts, and then Mega Evolve, and it's pretty much game over, man. That's tough.
Yeah, exactly. Some people want to be safe with Protect and, guarantee themselves a turn. I think it'll probably want that as well in order to guarantee that you get your Mega Evolution safely in on a turn. Because having Protect, I've definitely seen it as a staple on Sharpedo in the past. I run it without, because if I can bring it in properly, then I don't need to waste a move slot, and I get coverage instead. Because with Crunch and Ice Fang, you could run Waterfall and Earthquake. If you're running Protect, you drop one of those. It also gets access to Destiny Bond, too. So keep in mind, if you can't take something out, you can just Destiny Bond. Your Mega goes down, their Mega, or anything else could potentially go down as well. So,
wow, I didn't know. That's a pretty notable move there.
Yeah, just a niche move on Sharpedo in general.
That's great, especially with the speed boost. Now, I mean, the defenses on him have gotten a slight boost from 40s to about 70 to 65. That's not bad. I mean, he won't necessarily go down to a priority Mach Punch.
Yeah, you're going from wet paper to dry paper now, so it might be able to take a resisted +6 Aqua Jet from Azumarill now. What will it do in response? I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah.
I don't think it really even needed those buffs, to be fair. But it got pretty welcome ones across the board. 20 to attack, 30 to defense for whatever reason. I think that was one of its biggest push. Yeah, its defense was its biggest push. So 30 added to that, 15 to special attack. I've been a big fan of Special Sharpedo myself, so to see it break 100 finally, that's pretty cool. Yeah. 25 to special defense. So this thing gets slightly more bulky, but you'd still run it the same way. You would just hold on to your Mega as long as you could before you just drop a boosted Crunch on your opponent.
Oh, man. All right, guys, now we're trying to make this video not too long, so if you guys enjoyed the first half of the Mega Evolutions tutorial and discussion with Elo and myself, definitely check us out. You guys know my YouTube channel. It's right over here, Abdallah Smash 026, and I definitely want to welcome you guys over to Elo's channel, which is Quandao Ren 66, so go check him out. Other than that, we've got part 2 coming for you very soon, where we'll cover the other half of all of the Mega Evolutions, including the primal forms of Kyogre and Groudon, so definitely stay tuned to that. Other than that, you got any other last words, Elo?
Not that I can think of. We'll see you guys on the next one.
All right, take care, guys.